What's up, guys, and welcome to Friday Flight's EVGA Keyboard Edition. So this is the EVGA Z10 mechanical gaming keyboard, and this particular one uses Kale Brown switches. So let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box and see what it's all about. So as I said, Kale Brown switches, and the price is a little bit odd on this one. I've actually had this keyboard for a couple of months. I just haven't had the opportunity to review it yet. And when I got it, the keyboard was going for about $149. And my first impression of that was that's a little bit expensive for a keyboard only with Kale Brown switches. Now, there's nothing wrong with Kales, but if you're going to be $149, I typically expect you to use Cherry MX. I know I just ruined all your peel action. Tell you what, we'll do the screen together. So inside the box, obviously, is the keyboard itself. A nice, very wide removable wrist rest. I'm not sure how deep that's going to be, but it has a nice texture to it. Kind of a faux leather texture almost, as my neighbor's truck drives by. Does include some replacement keycaps, although I'm not sure why, because they look identical to the keycaps that are in here, but these are basically your WASD Q and R, I believe. So, but it does come with a key puller as well. Manual also included in the box, and that's about it. So this is my first hands-on with the keyboard, and right away, it feels pretty steady. There's not a lot of flex in the keyboard, not that this is a good metric for quality, but seems like a nice sturdy keyboard right off the bat. Again, at $149, I was questioning why they would be using Kales instead of Cherry MXs, and it seemed like this keyboard was possibly going to be overpriced unless they absolutely blew me away with feature set. However, in the meantime, the prices seem to have been dropping. On Amazon today, it was $69, and on Newegg, it was $79, and those are listed as the new regular prices for this keyboard. And in fact, there was talk in the reviews of these keyboards on Amazon and Newegg both of the keyboard being $149, but then getting a $100 rebate on top of that. So quite recently, you've been able to pick these up as low as $50. That $50 to $70 price point, definitely much more approachable for something with Kale switches, and much more the price point that I've seen in this realm. Let's go ahead and walk down the features of the EVGA Z10. As I said, it is using a Kale Brown mechanical switch, which should be pretty similar in feel to a Cherry MX Brown mechanical switch. The Z10 does have red LED backlighting behind each key. However, it is not RGB, and I'm going to let you decide whether that's a positive or a negative. Myself, I'm pretty neutral to that fact, as long as there's backlighting behind the keys of some sort. There is a fader along the top left to control the brightness of the LED backlight. There's also a fader on the opposite side for the volume. Now, for the backlight, I'm okay with this design. For the volume, this seems a little imprecise to me, although I'll have to test this out once I get it plugged into the computer. The most prominent feature on the keyboard is obviously the LCD screen up on top. Now, I'm really excited to give this a shot. EVGA says you can put a number of different readouts on that screen, but I'm probably most excited for system information. So I can display CPU and GPU utilization and temperatures, the amount of RAM I'm using, different profiles set up within my computer, and general system health all right there in front of me while I'm in a game. As a gaming keyboard, they do tout a 1000 millisecond polling rate versus the typical 500 millisecond found on most USB devices. Also, as a gaming keyboard, there is a dedicated gaming button up here in the top left. I know that disables the Windows key. I'm not sure what else it does. So again, we're gonna have to find that out in software. Key layout on the Z10 is pretty standard fare for a 104 key keyboard. However, there is the addition of 7 macro keys, both along the left side and 2 in between the arrow keys. These should be programmable to pretty much any function on the PC that I want. And again, it's going to be up to EVGA software to determine how those are used and how effective they are. So again, another feature that I'm pretty excited to check out. Go ahead and get the cable undone here. Now, I will say this is a nice, thick, braided cable that's included in this. I really like the quality of it. I like a much heavier cable for keyboards, although I would much prefer it only had 1 USB plug rather than 2. The reason for the dual plugs is, I'm sure, power requirement, both for the screen power and the LED backlight on here. There's also a 2-port USB hub on here along the bezel. And while I was checking out the USB hub, I realized that the keyboard feet are spring-loaded. So that's pretty cool, I guess. So that's about it. Other than, I don't think I mentioned the media hotkeys up here. You've got your standard stop, back, play, and go forward. Other than that, let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in, get the software installed, and see what we can do with it. All right, EVGA Torque Z10 keyboard is set up and ready to rock. So if I was a prepared YouTuber, I would have already downloaded the software. but I'm not. All right, so my first positive note is we can swap the Windows left and right key. Unfortunately, the keycaps are different sizes, so I can't actually move the Windows indicator key over to the function key over here, but I can change the actual physical key press of them. Game mode apparently will disable keys, so you can disable the Windows key, the application key launchers, as well as Control Escape and the Tab key. EVGA, I wish you would have included a alternate Windows and function key in here. See what else we got. All right, so looks like we've got, oh, every key looks like it's programmable. So the Windows and function keys are obviously not. Let's see if we can program E6 to a function. We can indeed. Let's have E6 be back and E7 be forward in our web browser. So the keyboard screen says applying driver, please wait. Let's go to a couple websites here. Let's go, okay, well those aren't working. So forward and back not working in the web browser. Let's see if it'll work in Windows Explorer. No, not getting into Windows Explorer either. Interesting. Okay, well, thus far, not a lot of luck. We'll come back to the macro programming. I'm going to see if I can read a little bit on that and see if I can improve it. Although right off the bat, I will always give a keyboard or any software in general props for being very intuitive. And so far this seems like it's intuitive, but it doesn't seem to be working. So we'll double back. It looks like we're able to customize our backlighting on the keys, both brightness and effect, and group them in a per key ordering, or at least sectional. Well, that doesn't seem to be working all that well either. So far, I will say the software is pretty intuitively laid out. However, I'm not having a lot of success actually applying different things. So I did manage to change the display mode. However, I'm still really curious on what I'm actually supposed to be able to do with the different effects, because I don't seem to be able to select any of the light groups up here. And again, the software seems like it should be intuitive, but none of these items are actually selectable. I'm not sure what to make of this. Customize. Oh, customize. There we go. So customize, it appears, is the option that you have to select to get all of these enabled. I wish they didn't display these when customize wasn't there, because that really made this whole thing confusing. Yes, I know I should have read that customize was an option, but secondly, these aren't even in alphabetical order. It's off, breathing, static, custom trigger, explosion. It's literally random. So don't blame me for that one. So I am able to set individual keys, it looks like. So if I wanted those to light up and then hit apply, and there we go. I'm not sure the usefulness of this, being that there's, again, only one color of backlight here. But I'm sure someone will find a use for it. If you have one, let me know down in the comments below. So that turned out to be intuitive enough. You just have to read through the options, which aren't intuitively laid out. How's that? Moving on, this is our LCD control. And up here, we've got a number of applications that we can set up to display on the LCD screen. We've got time, timer, PC game indicator mode. Okay, so that's whatever mode, so PC or game mode by that EVGA key that's up there. We've got our profile indicator, so we can choose multiple profiles over here. It looks like if we install Precision X, we'll be able to get actual feedback from system information, so that's the temperature and utilization. Well, let's get Precision X installed and see if that at least works. Wow, EVGA, really? You're including ad links because Google powers your search. So if I search Precision X on the EVGA website, the ads that display are PDF Converter HQ / free EVGA Precision X. Really, EVGA? Really? Do you think that's a good interface to do ad serving within your own internal website search? Really? So if I go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, hey look, the 5th result is for EVGA software Precision XOC. Let's see if that works. And I must be logged in to download Precision XOC. Well, gee, after all those ad links, I'm not sure if I want to log into this website. Let's check to make sure it is https://evga.com and it is a secure site. Yes, it is. Okay, now I will enter my credentials. EVGA, so far, you're not winning any points with your website design. Number one, I'm a little irritated with the ad placement, and especially ad placement that takes you to literal scam objects when searching for software on your own internal search engine. But number two, your email and login, you're exposing my password if I type it, because what happens is the login and password fields come up and I start typing in the password field, then the page completes its loading, it then jumps me to character 1 on the login page, and I continue typing my password in already. Now, I know I'm a bit of a fast typer, but if I've already selected a field that I'm filling in your website, Website Design 101 says I don't change the field once the page loads. So you guys have a little bit of work to do, I will say. I didn't expect this to be a review of your website. And I've logged into your website now, and instead of taking me to the link that I was trying to get to that says you must log in to this, it took me back to your homepage. So now I need to search again, skip all the ads again, and then click on the download link. EVGA, I say this out of love. I'm not trying to harp on you guys. You should never, ever place ads to potentially malicious sites within an internal search engine. This is ignorant at best and malicious at worst. So fix this. There's no reason in the world that a search for Precision X on EVGA's website should lead me to Free PDF Convert HQ, MySocialShortcut.com, an Amazon ad that searches for Precision X, and then Information Vine /EVGA Precision X. You're the fourth result on your own website. Okay, I'm done. Precision X is installed. Let's go ahead and launch. Really? EVGA, I had to log in to download the software. You already have my contact information. Why now am I sending you more contact information? What is this? Come on, you're better than this. I expect better than you. I'm harping on you because I expect better of you. So I'm gonna select Precision X as the application that I want. I'm gonna hit apply. We're gonna wait the 10 seconds and wait for it to reload. And all I have is a blank screen. Now it's back to the displaying profile, my default LCD mode. Okay. Quick start guide, getting started. Plug in USB cable. Done. Turn on your PC. Ooh, I did those in reverse. Step 3, install EVGA Unleash software. Done. Step 4, enjoy. So far, a little frustrated. And the frustration started at step 3, not at step 4. So I finally figured out how to make the Precision X software work with the Z10 keyboard. I would have really preferred to see this all in one software package, but I know modern day I'm asking a lot. So what we do is we go down to our LCD customization and we select Precision X and we hit apply. We then wait the requisite 10 seconds. It applies the driver to the keyboard and the keyboard reboots itself and displays essentially a blank screen. What I didn't realize is that's actually the Precision X application on the keyboard. After I've done that, I launch Precision X. So once I have Precision X opened up, I'm gonna go over here to Hardware Monitor, open that up, and I have this little bitty icon up in the top left of each graph section that says Keyboard LCD. So I'm gonna go ahead and enable keyboard display for our GPU clock speed, our GPU temperature, our CPU temperature, and we'll do our frame rate in our current application. Now, here's the problem with this. I can only display 4 items on the screen at one time. If I select a 5th item on here, which it totally lets me do, all it does is it pushes it down off the display on the keyboard. I've only got 4 lines of text on here. And there's no warning that it's gonna do that, it just stops working. Or rather, the 5th item just drops off the bottom of the screen. So definitely not the most intuitive way to get this working, and I would have liked to see some CPU utilization tie-in other than just CPU temperature. I don't have CPU load, I don't have system memory load, I don't have really any options as far as system health. All I have is GPU health, and the only GPU health I have is if I'm tied in to an EVGA graphics card. So overall, the software seems intuitive enough, but it's buggy enough that gives me a little bit of pause to say it's good. I think there's definitely some things that need to be consolidated. I think there's definitely some interfaces that need to be messed with. I think there's definitely bugs between the software and the keyboard itself to work out, and especially your documentation. It was difficult to find how to actually make all this work. I think the keyboard hardware itself is pretty darn good. The typing on it feels fantastic. Very common of a Kale Brown switch. I do like that switch already. The keyboard layout is very, very intuitive and pretty good. I didn't even put the wrist rest on. Hold on. There we go. Oh, nice. Multiple position wrist rest. Oh, EVGA, you just won some points back. Yes. As someone who has fairly large hands and does rely on a wrist rest, I know I shouldn't, but long arms, I gotta do something with them. I can't hold them up like this all day. A customizable length wrist rest. Oh, that is wonderful. Yes, thank you. 3 different positions. You can have it right up close to the keyboard, so being able to click that back, and actually the third position that is a wonderful typing position. So, conclusion time. What do I think of the EVGA Z10 out of the box with Kale Brown switches? Overall, I do like the keyboard. I don't want to come across as too negative. I'll leave that for the website. It's not without its faults. I do like the adjustability of it. The ergonomics are very nice. I think the software is a little half-baked, in my opinion. It's got the macro keys, it's got the LCD display on it. It's got some pretty compelling features, especially if you can do per key programmability on this and hook this up as just a macro keyboard. That's a great feature to have, especially at the price point that it's selling at now for between $70 and $80. I think it's a great buy if you need a whole bunch of macro keys. The downside to this keyboard is the software package itself is a little bit difficult to use. It's not overly intuitive, even though the display looks good. Something's lost in translation between the display and the keyboard itself. Would I recommend this keyboard at $150? No, that was going to be a hard no from me because there are many other options that are much more well refined in software programmability and looks, quite honestly. The red backlighting, while I do like the red backlighting and I'm not overly picky on color and that kind of thing, only having one color is a little bit dated in my opinion. But at $70, it makes it much more compelling given the feature set that it has. And that is going to do it for this edition of Friday Flights. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. If you're interested in picking up the EVGA Z10 keyboard for yourself, make sure to follow the Amazon and Newegg affiliate links down in the video description. Those are affiliate links, and when you buy from those, it really does help me keep the lights on around here. And interestingly enough, those were the 2 cheapest places to buy the Z10 keyboard from EVGA. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe on your way down there. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys. You know, that beer kind of grew on me as it went on. There is a dimmer dial up here. Dial? Lever. Rocker? It's not a rocker, because rockers are wheels. What is this? Fader.